If template files are the heart of a WordPress theme, then template tags are the heart of those files. You were introduced to these tags back in that video on the structure of a theme, but now I want to go into more details so you can understand exactly how template tags work and the key conventions when you're trying to use them. Let's start with our title here of a page. Now, that's how it's displayed on screen. Here's what it looks like in WordPress. Getting it from WordPress onto the page is the job of the template tags. Now here it is, the template tag for title. All it does is it grabs the title of whatever post or page you're on and it displays it in the browser. Now the advantage of template tags is it keeps things very simple for theme writers. There are many other functions in WordPress, but template tags in particular are meant to display information or get information for you from the database and make it easy to display. If you want to find out what template tags there are, you just go to the codex on the WordPress.org site and you will find a complete list of template tags, current template tags. There they are, and when you click through to them, we're going to go to List Categories here. What's great is it tells you exactly what all the parameters are and gives you examples of how to use them, so it's a great way to learn. Now look at on List Categories here, look at all the possible parameters or options that there are. There are dozens of them, and all of them have defaults. Now you can change these defaults through your template tag, and there are two basic styles for doing that. There's the PHP style, which uses quotation marks and commas to separate each of the parameters. So in the case of string parameters, that is letters and words, you have to put quotation marks around it, then you put a comma. If it's a Boolean, true or false parameter, you don't need any quotation marks, but you do need the comma. Same for integers. Now the trick with PHP style is that parameters are in a particular order, and you have to maintain that order when you're passing parameters on. For example, if we go over here, the title tag has 3 possible parameters for it. If I only want to affect the second of those 3 parameters, I have to make sure that I put a blank. Notice the blank, there's 2 quotation marks, nothing between them. That's to say, leave the first parameter at its default, and on the second one, insert, in this case, the bar character. I don't have to put in the third parameter because I don't have to do anything with it, and I've stopped at the second parameter. So to use another example, if there were 8 parameters and you only wanted to change the 5th one, then you'd have to put in the first 4 as blanks, as not changing the default, and then put in your 5th one to change it. Now that gets a little tricky to keep track of, and what WordPress has done is make it very easy for a lot of ones, especially ones that have a fair number of parameters. They've created what's called query style. Now you'll notice the difference right off the bat. First of all, there are names for each of the parameters, which is great when you're trying to learn how to use a parameter, or you're trying to look at someone else's code, or you're trying to remember what you did 6 months ago. It says the name of the parameter. And then you separate each of them with an ampersand and enclose the whole thing in your quotation marks. So much easier to use, and they don't have to be in the same order either. You just put the parameters you want to change, and you can put them in any order. A much easier way to pass parameters for your template tags. Now, if you've got a query style with a lot of different parameters in it, it's sometimes easier to format them in this way, using an array. So you create a single variable that holds the entire array in it, and then the array is all your list of parameters. And then you simply pass the one variable into the template tag there. The other thing you can do, and this is very handy, is to separate out the values that are in the array and put them up top So in this particular case, what I'm creating is a little bit of a widget that can go in a sidebar for your client, where the client could actually go in and change some of these values. And we've written here, you can change the values here, but make sure you keep the quote marks, so we help them out. And then we say don't touch anything below this line. And what we do is we take all of the variables we create here and we pass them into the array. So it separates the structure a bit, makes it a little clearer and a little easier to change as well. So hopefully you've seen some ways to use template tags and the conventions for using them, that is, and then we'll be able to see how we use them in the various templates when we're creating customizations later in the course.